Hey folks, Deano here again. This time taking a look at another bootleg Gunpla. This is the Zeta Gundam, high grade, from JMS. Another one of JMS's releases. They've been putting out quite a bit recently. I think this is maybe a couple of months old at this point. But yeah, this kit really impressed me, honestly. There's a couple of niggling bits and pieces here and there, but yeah, this kit's a beefy boy. Like, the new Gundam, which will either come out before or after this, I haven't yet decided, he was very tall. I think this one definitely focuses more on armour than anything else. This is the defense mobile suit. But yeah, this is from Zeta Gundam, the sequel series to the original Mobile Suit Gundam, which, yeah, I suppose this makes this suit the main suit of the series. Forgive me, I haven't looked into it yet fully. I only know the names of the suits and such. And yeah, before anyone says anything, no, I do not have a box for this one. For some reason, I ordered from the same seller I got the Hyakushiki from. Spoilers if that one hasn't released yet. But yeah, I got a box with that one, didn't get it with this one. Even though they are both JMS, I don't know what's going on. But yeah, first things first to say with this guy, like, the sheer amount of panel lines on this kit, I am not sure if that is purely JMS's doing, or if that was on the original, like, high-grade kit. I know at the time people were saying the high-grade Zeta Gundam, specifically 2.0, which has less panel lines apparently, was one of the best versions of the Zeta Gundam that had been released. But yeah, this one seems to be based off the 1.0, judging from, like, the obscene amounts of detail on him, and the fact that we have some horrible stickers for the wings, which, yeah, stickers never work well on curved surfaces, so I don't know why Bandai originally thought it was a good idea to cover the entirety of the wings in them. Yeah, that's all I'm saying about that. But yeah, I suppose let's take a look at his accessories first of all, and then we'll take a look at the kit. So yeah, in terms of, like, physical accessories for the model kit itself, he does come with a decent amount. Like, it's kind of bare bones, but it does the job. He comes with a standard beam rifle, which is kind of boring. It's mostly all in black with some grey accents. I did use the paint pen on the sort of wire section just to give it a bit extra. It does extend out to give it a longer barrel. We have the shield, which is one of the strangest shields I've ever seen. Oh, I just accidentally tore it apart thinking that would that would fold, but there you go. But yeah, it's quite a thin shield. If it even is a shield, I'm not 100% sure. Unfortunately, that is a sticker. The sticker did not work properly, so I ended up having to cut it. Looks horrible. I would recommend just leaving it in black, to be completely honest with you. But yeah, that goes on. With this being, like, the older Gundams, the shield goes on to the back of his arm, which is quite strange. I don't know why they did that. But yeah, the beam rifle as well, you'll notice this peg here, that can go on to the back of his other arm. So I suppose that's storage. We will get to the big blue monstrosity in a second. He does have a pair of beam sabers, which were incredibly tight to get into the beam hilts. Bit unfortunate, but they do work. No place to store them, as far as I can tell, but they are just nondescript grey, like beam sabers. So, yeah, not something you would probably use with this kit. What you would likely use with this kit is this thing. A beam rifle so large it needs its own landing gear. Like, honestly, I will do a size comparison with the Gundam itself once we get to that. But this thing's taller than the Zeta Gundam, and Gundams are the size of skyscrapers. What is the use for this thing? This monstrosity? This puts the Wing Gundam's Buster rifles to shame with the sheer size of this thing. And to make things even funnier, it extends. It gets even bigger. What the hell? This thing could probably blow up a planet. But yeah, if you're wondering where the handles and such are, there is one on the bottom, because yes, somehow this mobile suit can hold this one-handed. You get a handle down there. I would recommend, he says as one of the landing gears falls off, I would absolutely recommend that all of these handles you do not put in fully. If you do, you're going to have an absolute nightmare of a time trying to get it out of there. So yeah, you've got that one, but you've also got these bits which open up, which, yes, he can hold it with two hands in front of him, like the Wing Gundam. I wonder where they got the inspiration from. And yeah, you have two more handles right there, like that. Yeah, but just a standard thing for a beam rifle, really. But yeah, you can sort of leave them like that, and these will still close over top. So yeah, you don't have to push it in all the way. And yeah, like the top one already has, these landing gears do pop out. I just have them in here because I will lose them otherwise. But yeah, the Zeta Gundam does have a transformation gimmick. At this point in the review, I am undetermined whether to actually try it or not, because it looks like a bit of a nightmare to do. We will see. If not, there are pictures online of it, so yeah. Don't blame me if I don't. But yeah, that does it for accessories. Well, technically he does have more, two more. These are for like the back of his forearms. If you don't want to stick the gun or the shield onto them, those just fill in the gaps, although you really don't need it, to be completely honest with you. I don't even have one on the kit at the moment, but yeah. Let's get on to the kit itself. So yeah, looking at the Zeta Gundam by itself, first things first, yeah, for scale, if we put this right back and put the camera right up, that's how tall this rifle is. Dear Lord, what is that? I forgot to mention as well, looks like that may be a handle for him to like hold it up, looking badass. But yeah, that's a bit bonkers. Let's pop this camera back down so that we can look at the kit itself. So yeah, obviously the shield does pop on there. The peg is currently stuck in his arm. I cannot be bothered getting that out of there because it's quite tight. And yeah, in terms of details, like this guy has panel lines to the extreme. Like, I honestly am not entirely sure if this is how the original high grade Zeta Gundam looked. But this is giving me real grade vibes, to be completely honest with you. I have a feeling JMS simply took the panel line details that were on the real grade and applied it to this guy, because the sheer amount of this is insane. There's no need for so much panel lining. This took forever for me to do. I did use a felt tip style Gundam marker, because obviously, even though JMS is one of the better companies out there for bootleg Gunpla, I still don't trust the plastic to not go brittle and shatter. I've had that happen far too many times before, so yeah, highly recommend the felt tip ones instead, even if it does look a bit thicker on a kit. But yeah, I personally really like the amount of detail that's on them. Some people might not. They prefer to be purists, but I like all my kits to look the same. So yeah, with the sheer amount of panel lines, I didn't feel it too necessary to put that many decals on there. So there's a couple on the waist. I put the Z's on there because obviously Zeta Gundam. I believe that one is pinched from the Hyakushiki's water slide decals. But yeah, other than that, pretty basic in terms of the water slides that I've used. These water slides did actually go on quite well. I am quite happy with that. But yeah, there's even panel lines and stuff on his backpack, which is huge, by the way. This is like an aircraft carrier level of backpack here. But yeah, I don't have white panel liners, surprisingly enough, so can't really do anything with those. But yeah, in terms of articulation, if we can move him around. Oh, I almost forgot as well. This is another one of those kits where Bandai originally put quite a lot of detail into the kit. You can't see it from there, but the back of his knees have pipe detail work right there, and his forearms, or pretty much his wrists, have more of that detail work, which is insane for a high grade. Really impressive. You can even see quite a bit of grey poking through in various points on the armor. So yeah, this is pretty much a discount real grade. Can I call it that? Yeah, for £7, I love the amount of details in this guy. And you're going to hear me say that a lot before the end of this review. But yeah, obviously, I forgot to say at the start of the review, got it from AliExpress. Link is in the description if you want to purchase. I recommend this one and the Hyakushiki, which I will either review before or after this. Spoilers. But yeah. Oh, and before I go into articulation, the V-fin, nice and pointy. Let's bring the white balance down a little bit, shall we? There we go. So yeah, V-fin was really sharp, out of the box, really nice, and fit together just as easily. So yeah, in terms of articulation, the head can't really move all that much because it's quite an elongated head. The Zeta Gundam itself isn't really a mobile suit. Let's see what I did there. It's more like a defensive powerhouse, at least from what I've seen of it. So yeah, you're not getting the biggest range of motion there. I'm saying that there, I just popped off a bit of the V-fin trying to move them. Bear with 2 seconds. There we go, nice and easy. So yeah, can't really move too much. It's very limited. You can do a bit of pivot. Can do the giggity forward and back. But yeah, you can't really swivel it forward and back, which is a bit of a shame, but yeah. The shoulders are a bit of a strange one. I should say as well, this kit I think has very minimal polycaps in it. There's a couple here and there, but most of the joints are just straight up plastic, which is good. I do appreciate that. So yeah, the standard shoulders can't really move out that much. You can probably get with that, but as you can see, this not only goes up the way, it also pulls out to give it even more range. So yeah, you can get that much, like so. You would be able to swivel the arms. Well, I can now because the wing came off. But yeah, where you can do that, the wings would mostly get in the way for it, because the wings are quite poorly designed, to be completely honest with you. They are just on there with a circular peg, and then the backpack is just a swivel. So yeah, not really much in terms of movement. I did not even realise that the wings can be pulled up the way to give him an even more menacing look. Ah, there we go. Yeah, that can go out more. So there you go. That does have a bit of a swivel to it, but I prefer to just leave it out. So yeah, back to articulation. If you pull that joint out the way, you then get a bit of a butterfly joint. I would be careful with the articulation though. If it's not in there, it feels a little bit fragile. But yeah, once it's out, you can get it out that far. You just need to be careful when using it. Bicep swivel. Double joint at the elbow, which despite all the bulk, can get really good range. Really like that. Ball peg at the wrist. Standard stuff so far. That bit likes to pop off. I might as well just do it now before it actually happens. The ab crunch can get about that much there. I'm trying to show it because the legs have moved as well. Can go back about that far. You do see into the suit itself though. We do have a little bit of pivot. There we go. That loosened up a little bit. So pivot and then swivel at the bottom. May as well get that wing off as well. That's going well. If we move that out of the way, skit pieces can obviously be separated, which is good. The side skirts are one of the only polycaps on this guy. They hinge like so, and in a surprising turn of events, the back skirt is movable as well. So yeah, that can get really good range there. Because of that, we get kick forward, kick back, can do splits to about there. And yeah, it does have a sort of pull down gimmick, but it's one of those old style ones where you pull one and the other side goes up, so not really much use at all. We do have a really nicely hidden thigh rotation right there. Double joint at the knees are quite limited because of the bulk of the knee, so you get that much. The knee is also kind of ugly. It's like that because of the transformation. You basically fold up the leg and turn it into a thruster. The feet are, again, kind of limited. They're also one of the very few loose bits on this kit. This bit is not tight whatsoever. There's a little bit of friction in it, but not a lot. It can go back that much. You can pop it to put it into quote-unquote flight mode, like so. Can't go up any. It gets but that much pivot side to side, and doesn't really get front any because this big armor piece gets in the way. So yeah, overall, like for how bulky this suit is, it does still get a really decent range of movement, all things considered, which I will take, especially for how like badass this suit looks just in general. I mean, even the face looks nothing like a Gundam. It looks closer to the Rising Freedom, and those two designs are like 30 years apart. But yeah, I suppose since the wings are off, I might as well try and build the sort of wave, is it the Wavebird mode? Something like that. But yeah, I will obviously be doing that off camera for obvious reasons, so bear with me. And just like that, and definitely not 20 minutes later, we have it in its Wavebird mode, whatever you call it. The poor Zeta Gundam has been stripped down to its bare parts. But yeah, suffice to say, I will not be doing this again. I done it once. I mean, to be fair, it is a pretty convincing alt mode. It's just a shame it's a complete parts former. I mean, Bandai, you could take some pretty big cues from the Transformers line, just saying. I don't get how Transformers can do stuff like this and Gundam can't. But yeah, it is a thing if you want to use it. It's also quite funny that the massive, huge cannon actually makes up the bottom of this monstrosity of a suit. But yeah, it's there if you want to do it. It can be done. I wouldn't recommend it. End of. So yeah, let's get this guy transformed back. And definitely not another 20 minutes later. It actually wasn't. Taking it apart was much quicker than putting it together, but yeah, unfortunately we did not transform without a casualty. I lost one of the water slide decals on his right shoulder, our left. So yeah, it still looks alright, considering, but yeah, that is the danger with water slides. They are very delicate, and if you scrape them the wrong way, they will come off without a top coat. And I'm way too lazy to do such a thing. So yeah, which way does this guy's shield go on? Of course, I put that on the wrong way. Do it like that. There we go. It still doesn't fit because I moved the... I'd give up. But yeah, guys, that is it for the Zeta Gundam review. As I said before, link is in the description if you want to purchase him. I highly recommend him. Despite his limited articulation in places, the detail that either JMS or Bandai put into him, I am not entirely sure, definitely makes him worth the 7 or 8 quid that I paid for him. Plus you get to play about with a literal planet destroying beam rifle. So yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Is this a kit you'll be picking up? Let me know. And until next time, guys, I'll see y'all later.